Next generation upgrades are not going well. I'm Greg Patten, and welcome to the Fanboy Free News Desk. And after yesterday, guys, I really didn't want to have to report another story about a gaming franchise that I care about having a terrible marketing day. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to get through this. So here's the thing. I just really want to report good news, but right now there's only bad news, and that's probably a lot to do with the virus. In this case, it seems to be a poor marketing decision. Control, last year's Game of the Year voted on by various publications, a successful game as well for the Epic Games Store with its exclusivity, announced today that they are releasing an Ultimate Edition on August 27th that will include all the DLC. It's interesting. They're releasing the Altered World event expansion that everyone's looking to that stars this guy, Alan Wake, one of my personal favorites. So this is my most anticipated release this month in gaming. So you think, okay, Greg, well, that's not a big deal. They're releasing an Ultimate Edition. They're going to put everything together. You're still going to be able to play your version, right? Sure. But there's one caveat to that. And this is what they shared today. Will Control Ultimate Edition give me access to Control on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5? We will offer a free next-gen digital upgrade for those who buy Control Ultimate Edition on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. For more information on eligibility, stay tuned to our website and community channels. Doesn't sound so bad. What if I purchased the original version of Control previously, like myself and several others? The free upgrade path to Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 version of Control is only available for Control Ultimate Edition. Seriously? There's people who bought the game at launch who paid $100 for Control and the 2 expansions. There's people who bought it on sale, probably paid $60 with the expansions. This is not good. This is poor practices regarding your consumers. You're asking people who may have paid in an excess of $100 to pay for the same game twice just so they can get the upgraded visuals, the better frame rate on the next gen consoles. This is terrible business practice. But I've got 3 things that I want to talk about regarding it. I think we need to hit on a couple things here. 1, can I play my current version of Control on the next gen consoles? Yes, but with an asterisk. And here's why. Control on Xbox Series X, the version you currently own, will be playable. It will be backwards compatible according to Microsoft. There will be no upgraded features to it, but you will still be able to play it. On PlayStation 5, that's where the asterisk comes in. See, we just don't know if Control's actually going to be backwards compatible because Sony hasn't told us what any of their games are going to be backwards compatible. All they have been able to do is promise consumers that they will have up to 400 backwards compatible games. But we don't know what any of those games are right now. So we just have to say yes with an asterisk. It's possible Control could be backwards compatible on PlayStation 5. We just don't know. But we can say for sure that you will be able to play the version of Control you own that you bought with the expansions on Xbox Series X. Number 2, why would Remedy choose to make this decision, you're asking, Greg? If they're a beloved publisher and they've had success with their games as an independent developer, why would they make a choice that they have to release an Ultimate Edition on August 27th for the Epic Games Store and on September 10th for the other platforms? It's a very simple answer, actually. See, Remedy's not publishing Control. 505 Games is. 505 Games has become a pretty well-known publisher in the last couple years. Their big titles have been, they got the PC version of Death Stranding, and Control was the first big get for them in a while. They had been a very mid-tier publisher. They had put out a lot of small games. Control was the first big game they put out. We now know, looking into the financials, that Control's budget was $33 million. What? An independent game studio is making a game that costs $33 million. That is why you go and get a publisher like 505 to help foot the bill. This would also explain the outrage of why, when Control was announced, it was announced to be releasing on PC in the Epic Games Store exclusively. Hence why on August 27th, the Ultimate Edition is the first time Control will be available on Steam. Think of it like this. 505 Games is a bank, and you're an entrepreneur who needs a loan. Remedy's that entrepreneur. They're a small development company that has been very successful. They've had their share of hits. 505 Games tells Remedy, we can get you $10.5 million before the game's finished. Remedy's budget is $33 million. In addition to that 10.5, 505 tells Remedy, you will get 45% of every sale of Control, be it physical or digital. But here's the catch. We have power of whether the game is greenlit for a sequel, and your next IP we own for 20 years. Now let me ask you, if you're Remedy, do you make that deal? Control is a game they've been wanting to make for 5 years, so they took the deal. I think what we know about that business kind of explains why an Ultimate Edition is happening. First off, you didn't have the game on Steam, which is the biggest platform where you can sell your games. You don't have the budget to put ray tracing, 120 frames per second, and a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X upgrade at no additional cost. That sounds crazy to say, but game development costs money, and Remedy's taking 45% here of the sales. Now, how many copies of Control did 505 and Remedy sell? I'd love to be able to tell you, but those numbers haven't been released. But what I can tell you is in an earnings call in May, 505 Games released numbers that their revenues were up 132%. What game did they attribute the success to? Control. Control sold very well after awards season, where it racked up a lot of Game of the Year awards, is what we know. But that's all we have to go on. What is going on is business. If you want to be an independent game studio, a developer, these are the kind of deals you have to make when you want to have budgets as high as $33 million. And the fact that 505 is in charge of whether or not a sequel happens, or they own Remedy's next game for the next 20 years by license, is why this happened. Number 3. Should we expect other developers to follow Remedy doing this? This is a maybe. Right now, almost all of the Xbox Series X Smart Delivery games are known. We know right now that NBA 2K is the one game that is charging extra money for you to get the upgrade. 2K Games is the only one so far who has announced that you will pay additionally to play your game on the next gen console. That includes PlayStation 5, that they are also making that deal. It's too hard to say right now. How many publishers the size of Remedy are going to need to put out a Game of the Year edition, an Ultimate Edition, a fully loaded edition? Figure out whatever silly name you want to put all the downloadable content and costumes and gear and everything. All the games currently that seem to want to do the smart delivery of Xbox tend to be open world games, sports games, or live service games. Single player action games like Control don't fall into that. So it's really hard to say right now, and with the PlayStation 5, we have no idea. Only thing we know of right now is NBA 2K is the only game saying, hey, we're going to charge you some extra money so that you can play that version on it. That may become the trend, may not. It's hard to say. In conclusion, guys, we're not promised free upgrades. This is a great example of why we've gotten accustomed to marketing telling us that you buy a game, you're going to be able to play it on the new console. There's nothing that says that we're guaranteed new graphics, better frame rates, and a better experience just because we currently own a game. we're not promised free upgrades. Smart delivery has made it seem like everything that's going to come to a new console is going to be upgraded. It's just not the case. Publishers, developers have the ability to opt in or opt out. And Remedy may have made a poor marketing choice that's going to hurt them with their fan base who has been very loyal to them. We're only going to know when Remedy and 505 comment any further, and if they release anything, I'll let you know. But in the comments below, let me know, do you support the idea of an Ultimate Edition if it's what's going to benefit Remedy Studios? Or are you against these kind of practices going into the next gen? Hey, those are just my thoughts. I'm Greg Patten saying, if you can't play sports, just play games.